training and change your career. Weeks from now, you can have your CDL driver's license and a whole new job when you call Advantage Driver Training today. You've heard all the advantages of getting your CDL truck driver's license from Advantage Driver Training, like choosing from day or evening classes taught by experienced truck drivers with small class sizes in a Secretary of State approved CDL school. This is a whole new career in 4 short weeks with one low, all-inclusive price and no hidden costs. Not all driver training schools are the same. So do your homework and take advantage of Advantage Driver Training's huge new facility for your future. The opportunities are better than ever before. So let's get this CDL career thing done this fall. Call Advantage Driver Training today or go online, advantage-drivertraining.com. Advantage Driver Training, going the extra mile for you.
1340 WJOL presents Tim Kerfin's House Talk, Thursday afternoons at 12:15, hosted by the owner of Kerfin Inspections, Tim Kerfin. There is so much you can do around the house, and each week, Tim will give you the ins and outs on how to make your home the best it can be and keep your energy bills down. If you're a business and would like to advertise or be featured on the show, call 708-935-3050. Tim Kerfin's House Talk, Thursday at 12:15 on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell and Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
Hi, this is State Farm Agent John Wright. Every team knows the 2-point play can be a winning move. That's why I can help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score savings by combining your home and auto with me, State Farm Agent John Wright. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, John Wright, at 815-725-5052 today.
Miller Lite presents your Chicago football game day headquarters, Jameson's Pub in Frankfort. Catch the Fox Brew and View this Sunday at Jameson's in Frankfort, and you'll find 32-ounce Miller Lite and Coors Light drafts in a Chicago football cup that you get to keep while supplies last. $3 Miller Lite bottles and $5 Vizzy flavors. Food specials and all the game day action on 45 flat screens throughout the bar. Jameson's Pub, 9545 West St. Francis Road, Frankfort. That's jamesonspub.com. Celebrate responsibly.
EDGYTIM is here. Coach Rod is here. The best high school football fans in the state are here. It's time for Pigskin Preview. Coaches, players, fans, and experts. You get them all right here on Pigskin Preview. Powered by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy and John Wright.
And good evening. And welcome to the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports. Good evening, everyone. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with the coach, Joe Rodriguero, and I, along with Evan Bredesen. We will be here for the next 2 hours talking IHSA football, trying to answer your questions. Joe, we had a lot going on this week.
Yes, we sure did.
It was not a dull week in the high school football world. So
no, not at all.
We've got a little bit of time early in the show. We don't have any guests until 6:45, so we've got some time. We'll break down the announced merger, which, Joe, honestly, I had it, I think, in May on my premium side, the merge.
Yep.
Well, they're calling it the merge. It's more of the DuPage Valley being refugeed into the Southwest Suburban. We'll get into that in a minute. Talk about that. Gentlemen, it just will never go away. No, it's not COVID. It's sectionals. Going to be brought up for a vote once again.
Oh, no.
So we'll get into that as well. We'll certainly talk about that and a couple other surprises along the way. So thanks for joining us. This edition and every edition of Pigskin Preview brought to you by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet. Like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
And we would like to first of all say thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
To our friend at Pizza Mia.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Dave.
Yes.
We forgot to mention last week because
Joe. Your thoughts?
I think the pizza's terrific at Pizza Mia.
So do I.
Uh,
There was none left.
no.
Whatever was left went back to the Bredesons.
our
And there wasn't any left.
our annual pizza pre-meal before our show was last week, and Dave was kind enough to
Yes.
get us a pizza.
And we're just dummies, and we didn't thank him during the show.
Yes.
That's my fault. So.
Yes. No.
Thank you, Dave, very much. Also want to congratulate our Week 7 winner of the State Farm Edging, Kevin Malloy, Pigskin Preview Player of the Week at Joliet Catholic Academy. It was junior running back Keegan
Farnes.
I knew that. We need to put an R in there somewhere, Joe. Tell him to work on that. 3 rushing touchdowns and 100-yard rushings in the Hilltoppers' 49-8 win last Friday over Leo. Joe, I think we found the key to the Kevin Malloy Award.
Exactly.
And that is, Joe,
Evan,
your thoughts?
It happened yesterday. My thoughts is we need a thunderstorm or the chance of a thunderstorm right before he goes on and starts talking.
The best time to do that is where storm's imminent. It was the fastest presentation we ever had.
It was ridiculous how fast
it was. Awesome. It was awesome. No one complained.
No
one.
Not at all.
I don't even think Kevin complained.
Kevin wanted to get out of there because he wanted to stay dry.
Evan, 2 weeks ago, we walked out of there. I think it was Lincoln Way East. I look at Joe and I go, I have no idea what he just talked about. I don't think he knew what he talked about. We love him to death.
Yeah.
He's like our wacky dad.
Evan, I have time to talk to all the coaches a little bit, and Kevin is still talking. I mean, all the coaches.
But the guy does a tremendous job, gives that away every week, and we're glad to be a part of it. And again, congratulations to Keegan. And again, some cool things. He gets part of that banquet at the end of the year, and we actually will give him that trophy back. So it's a whole other thing. Broadcast schedule is as follows. Tomorrow evening, should I say weather permitting yet or no? No, I'm just going to say 6:05 Friday Night Lights. Evan Bredesen on the greatest pregame show in high school football. Then Dewey to take it over what, Joe? 6:12?
I don't think so.
All the kids, the families will gather around the radio and stay warm and listen to Uncle Dewey spin some tales. So you'll have the Dewey pregame, and then, of course, 7 o'clock kickoff. Yes, we have changed our broadcast schedule for the last 2 weeks here.
Yes.
Something we traditionally do here in the area. I'm actually surprised, Evan. Joe and I talked about this. This is about as late as we've done this in a long time. The schedule pretty much worked out pretty well for us this year.
Yes, it did.
So what we do is very simple. We are going to go with the best games we can get to. And tomorrow night, it is at Minooka as the Minooka Indians host Oswego. Joe, I've been assured the heat will be on for you.
I don't mind. I don't mind being a little cold.
That is a 7 o'clock kickoff at Minooka. And what's this on the bottom of this list? Playoff pairing show.
What is that?
Wait, we don't do that here anymore, do we?
I don't think so.
Yes, we do. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Don't make sure you include us in your playoff pairing plans. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
We'll have a little more details on that a little bit down the road. But yes, a week from Saturday, there will be a playoff pairing show here at 1340. WJOL, Joe, the Week 8 WJOL EDGYTIM.com Big 5 poll is as follows.
Number 5, we have Lincoln Way Central. At number 4, we have Joliet Catholic. At number 3, Lincoln Way West. At number 2, we have Morris. And at number 1, the whole year, Lincoln Way East.
And again, no big surprise there. Lincoln Way East has been the number 1 team here, what, Joe, 2 decades now, it seems like?
It seems like.
You can find out that poll every Monday morning with Scott Slocum in the morning. And want to say hello to everybody watching us on YouTube Live. Watching us, yes, believe it or not, you can actually watch these handsome guys do their show live from the studio. And, anytime we're on the air, we stream it live now on YouTube. So you can just... you can go to my Twitter at EDGYTIM. It's posted at the very top of the page. You can watch us there. Go to my Facebook page. You can go to my website. You can find it. So love to hear from you and all our regulars checking in tonight.
Captain,
Captain checking in.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Minooka a little bit later.
We will talk Minooka. So again, we're a little bit light here on guests, and we kind of set that up. 815-254-7300. Joe, we need to talk about the merger for 2024. between the Southwest Suburban Conference, which is Lockport, Lincoln Ways, what have you, and the DuPage Valley, the Naperville schools, Naperville North, Naperville Central, Nequa, Wabansie, DeKalb. Am I forgetting anyone in there? No, I don't think so. Okay, 6 schools out of the DuPage. So if you have questions, if you want to talk about that, we would love to talk to you about that. 815-254-7300. You want to talk about some of the games coming up this week. If you want to talk about playoffs and seedings and everything else, we'd love to hear from you as well. 815-25851. No, that's not that number either.
Where'd you have your coffee?
815-254. Shut up, Joe. 7300. Evan, I'm fine. Don't look at me that way. All right. I almost gave my wife's cell number out. Bob. Hello, Bob. Save me, Bob.
Are you guys behaving over there?
Trying.
Yeah,
Don't look like it, and don't hear like it.
It's Joe. It's all Joe.
It's all me, Bob. It's all
Joe.
my fault.
It starts trouble, then runs away.
I started.
Bob, what are you doing playoff pairing night? Got any plans?
I'm going to listen to you guys.
Bet
Atta
you are,
boy.
buddy boy.
Hey, what bracket are we going to be in for sure? 5 or 4?
Oh, you're going to be 5. Yeah.
How's it look for?
Trying to remember. I know our friend Steve Susie put his projections out there. You're going to wind up being most likely in the North in 5A. So, yeah, when we get a little closer, we'll start talking about it a little bit. Heading out to Aurora tomorrow?
Yeah, sure am.
Not a terrible commute. You can kind of backdoor your way to get to Marmion pretty easy.
Well, now with 355, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, but even so, you can go like 126 and really backdoor you. I don't want to get Bob lost in the middle of nowhere.
No, don't get
well,
lost.
because my son went to Northern and I used to backdoor my way up to DeKalb and 88 all the time. So it's a nice facility too. They've done a lot of renovations recently in Marmion, but I think you're looking good, pal. I think you've got 6 wins probably locked in for sure. And if things go well, week 9, you could have 7.
Yeah.
Bob, I just got a note from our friend Steve Susie. He goes, south
for the Hillmen.
They're going to go south.
Thank you for listening, Mr. Susie. We appreciate that. So, you're going south.
So that's 3 guys now we have listening anyway.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Something going right.
I'm sorry?
I said we got something going right at least.
Yep, there you go.
For sure.
I just wonder why all these schools are changing their conferences.
It's a good question, Bob. It's, again, everyone's situation is different. In the case of this merger with our teams here in the Southwest Suburban and the DuPage Valley, the DuPage Valley has been seeking a solution for a while. I don't know if, Bob, you remember, but, they used to have the Wheaton North, Wheaton South, and, and then you had Geneva and Batavia. They were in the Upstate 8, and they just kind of came together and formed a great conference in the Duquesne and kind of left the rest of the DVC schools in the lurch.
And some of those DVC schools, Bob, were playing each other twice a year.
That's no good.
No,
and that is no good.
No, and the problem they have is enrollment. Obviously, they're big schools, so it makes sense to join up with the Southwest Suburban. Joe, the first question I had, how does this benefit the Southwest Suburban?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyone has that answer for me, 815-254-7300. I would love to know how this benefits the Southwest Suburban because I don't see
because the only school going out is Bolingbrook.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Yep.
They're going to the Prairie.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know that they were going to have an odd number of schools and they wanted to correct that, but it's got to be for more than that. But, all right, Bob, we will let you go. But, again, good luck on your travels tomorrow.
All right. You guys have a good day.
And we will
Bob,
we will
take
have
care.
more details early next week about the pairing show. But, yes, you'll hear a pairing show here next Saturday night, okay? All right. Thanks, Bob. Who's that, Evan? All right, Greg from Tinley joining us. Hello, Greg.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, but you just put me in shock with that announcement.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I thought maybe it was in the works for, down the road, not next year.
No, it's next year.
Tell you,
Yeah, it's next
I
year.
love it. The only thing I don't like about it is the travel is going to be a lot tougher. But the competition,
Yeah,
they're big schools. That's the kind of competition that the schools down here need.
Well,
because I'll tell you what. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
Stag and a few of the other schools, they really belong in the Southwest Suburban. You know that. You can see the scores when they play. So these bigger schools, they'll provide the competition that's needed in this conference. Go ahead.
I'll tell you. I think Stag really benefits from this, honestly, because here's what the conferences are going to look like. Greg, you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
So the blue is going to be Homewood, Flossmoor, Lincoln Way East, Lockport. So no big change there. Naperville North and Nequa. So at least from a size standpoint, it makes sense. Nequa, Naperville North are two of the better teams. So again, I think that matches up pretty well. The red is the medium-sized enrollment. So that's Andrew, Matea Valley, Naperville Central, Sandburg, and Lincoln Way West. I like that because I think it works pretty well for Lincoln Way West. I know Andrew likes it because they get keep Sandburg, and Sandburg becomes an annual game for them. So I'm sure part of that went into it as well. Matea Valley is just god awful, and they're going to be for a while. It's just unfortunate there. And then the green, the final one is the smallest enrollment one. Now you want to talk about travel, Greg? Here's one for you.
Yeah, I know.
How about Bradley at DeKalb?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you got Bradley, you've got Bradley, DeKalb, Lincoln Way Central, Stag, and Wabanzi. Do you know who benefits from that the most? Lincoln Way Central. I think Lincoln Way Central would be the favorite right now in that division, obviously followed closely by Bradley.
Right.
But I think Lincoln Way Central does very well in that grouping. I think Lincoln Way East benefits from the grouping they have in the blue, Joe, because you are getting even better teams to go up against.
Yes.
In the conference portion of the schedule.
Sure. Right.
And East needs that.
What about crossovers? They're going to be crossovers.
Yes.
Obviously, too.
Okay. So you got to stay with me here on this, Greg. Okay, because it gets goofy. The blue and the red, the largest and the second largest, will play two crossovers. The red will play two against the blue. The blue will play two against the red. And then the green, the smallest, they'll play one crossover. So you've got 4 conference games. You've got 3 crossovers. That gives you 7. Joe, you with me? I know I went to TF North, so Matt's a little shaky on my end too. and then 2 non-conference games. So you're still going to have your non-conference games, which I like. But so you are going to have some crossovers. But I think again, this saves the DuPage Valley. There's no doubt about it. This totally benefits them. Greg, I asked this at the beginning. I don't know how this really benefits the Southwest Suburban teams, but now what's interesting is this is a 1 year, we're going to try it and see how it goes kind of deal. No contract, nothing's been signed to a long-term deal at all. So what that tells me is you're going to know by mid-year whether this thing works or not. So this very well could be a 1 year wonder. I hope not, but it could be.
I like I say, I like the it's new teams. It'll be refreshing, and I just think it'll give the whole area a boost. This wasn't going to work with just with Bolingbrook leaving, and all of that. There was something had to change there.
And Greg, I can tell you, and Greg, I tell you real quick, and we're going to have to let you go because we're up against the clock. But schools were not banging down their doors to join the Southwest Suburban. That was issue number 1. Issue number 2, no one wants Bradley and no one wants DeKalb. So they share that. So it was like a gunfight. So it's like, okay, well, the DVC said, we'll bring DeKalb, you bring Bradley, and we'll figure them out later.
Yeah.
That's how it worked.
Travel there is the problem.
Thanks, Greg. Always great to hear from you.
Okay, guys.
All right, take care, Greg. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate Greg. We're going to step aside and take a break. You are listening to the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
What? My trade's got to be worth more than this.
Hey, Chicagoland, don't get hit hard by low trade offers. Willowbrook Ford wants to get you released from your loan or lease, even if you own thousands more than your trade is worth. We'll even buy your car, truck, or SUV for big money. Even if you don't buy from us, we have a huge selection of new Ford and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs for thousands less and rates as low as 0%. Plus, no market adjustments on the hot new Bronco Sport, F-150 trucks, Edge, Escape, and Explorer SUVs. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience at Willowbrook Ford, the home of the 10% bigger discount. Conveniently located on Route 83, half-mile north of I-55, 4 miles south of I-88, or online at willowbrookford.net. Trade balance refinance to new loan, 0% for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand financed on select models. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM, along with the coach Joe Rodagero and Evan Bredesen spinning the dials. Guys, when we were on break, we had some people on Facebook and YouTube asking us and making a few comments. I want to get to a couple of them. Alex Acevedo, I believe it's Acevedo. As you say, Bradley Bourbonnais gets the boot next year due to travel. Where do they go? That's Alex. That is a terrific question. I think that's a question people have been asking down in the Bradley area for a while. What they would do. And then our friend Steve Susi. I hope Susi isn't on the clock. He spent a lot of time listening to our show. I love it's great.
He loves us. Yeah.
Alex, Big 12 wouldn't stun me, and that's a good one coming from Seuss. I've never really heard that, but yeah, I can kind of see because either way, Bradley's traveling.
Yes.
You're just going to travel.
They're just in a rock and a hard place.
Well, I think geographically, the one that probably makes the most sense is the Southland with Crete and Kankakee. I don't see that ever happening. Yeah. I don't think Bradley wants to go that route. I really don't. For whatever reasons they have, I don't think they want to do it. And then I thought Alex added something interesting. Not at all bad.
No.
Going to DeKalb gives us a chance to stop at Reams Market in Elburn for some of the finest sausage sticks in the sea.
Yes.
That's the attitude, Alex.
Yes,
You're our kind of guy. I was going to suggest stopping at Fatty's and go getting a sandwich in DeKalb and try some some Cajun potato salad. Very good. I highly recommend.
Just get the small portion, though.
Yeah, because, boy, if you have the large portion, you're going to be tasting that for about 4 days.
You will not eat for 3 or 4 days.
You will taste that for a long
man.
So.
Yes.
All right. So, again, big doings, Joe. Your thoughts on it? I mean, of course, we're talking about the melting, the merging of the DuPage Valley for football. By the way, we need to clarify that. Football only this is for. Everything else, status quo.
Well, as we mentioned before, in the DVC, there's only so many schools, and they wind up playing each other twice sometimes.
Yeah, it's just not a good situation.
And there's no place to the north or the west of them that they can go. So
well, there is, but they don't want them.
Yeah, of course not. They don't want another couple powers in a conference.
Right.
This makes a lot of sense, and as Greg mentioned, and you mentioned too, that it's going to help Lincoln Way East. I mean, to play more competition that's on their level.
Yeah.
And having games that are closer instead of blowouts and that. So I think it's very good. It's a shame that it'll go only 1 year. I think there's some concerns as Alex mentioned with Bradley. But again, we always talk about last Friday, Carmel Mundelein has to make a trip all the way to New Lenox.
Right.
Or that Carmel Mundelein trip to Joliet.
Okay. So now that we're getting into travel, and we're talking about that, I know not in this regards, but it's the bad penny we can never get rid of. Districts. Okay. It's back again.
Oh no. Yeah.
When the people that keep proposing these districts, when they can fix how my Manuka Indians don't get sent to Southern Illinois, then come talk to me.
For the play, yes.
Until then, I don't want to hear from you. So get that corrected.
I agree.
And I also want to see you correct Mount Carmel not having 9 running clock games and like zero competition with their district where they're going to be put in. Because, Joe, you know who they're going to be put in with, right?
Public schools.
All of them. St. Rita, probably very similar. Loyola. How happy would the North Shore be to see Loyola in a regular season district? Oh, joy.
No.
Oh, joy. Yeah. There's a lot of vagueness that really, from what I can tell and what I've seen, really has never been either addressed and or corrected. They just keep throwing districts at us.
They just say it.
Right.
Because it's going to benefit their school.
And look,
don't look at the whole state.
I do not know. I do not, I understand there's a lot of conferences that have issues with scheduling games and what have you. I get it. I totally get it. I just think there's got to be a better way. And the fact that people love conferences, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Catholic League. Tell me there's more loyal fans in the Catholic League schools. There's not.
Right.
West Suburban, they love it. They love that conference. They're all on board. There's a strong draw for the conferences to remain the same. And it goes back to, and another one of the media creeps, keeps dragging this one up. Well, pretty soon we should let everybody in the high school football playoffs. Just stop. Just stop.
No, please.
Stop yourself. No, we shouldn't.
We're not Indiana.
It's football. Exactly. Go to Indiana. Yep. Just skip football and go straight to basketball. That's all.
Are you done ranting and raving?
I am. I'm a little ranty tonight. 815-254-7300. Would love to hear from you. Last week, your thoughts?
Well, we were at, David and I were at Providence Catholic for the Carmel Providence Catholic game, and Carmel came out with a victory 25-14. Providence just could not get anything going offensively in the first half. The young sophomore quarterback just could not get the offensive going. The big thing in my eyes for the entire game was Providence too many 15-yard penalties. It just killed them. And there was one play, though, that I would love to know the explanation of it. And I told you Friday night, Carmel Mundelein was punting from their own 40-yard line. And we had a holding call on the receiving team, Providence. I've never seen that called in high school football at all. You very seldom see it in college, maybe in the pros a little bit. But I said on the radio, the punter for Carmel was in like a pistol form or a shotgun, maybe a couple steps farther. Not
Was it a quick kick?
No, it was not a quick kick. It was fourth down.
Give me your thoughts, Joe.
You cut it out. Well, the kick had to be to get off, to be punted at least 1.5 or 2 seconds. How in the world can somebody see a holding in there? And I'd love, and I know Coach Plants was very upset, and I don't blame him. I would have been upset too, but I would have loved to know the referee's explanation with that.
Yeah.
Because you never see it.
Right.
And then Carmel went down and scored.
Yep. What do you think of Carmel?
I think they're good. They got a couple running backs. They're kind of scat backs. Their offensive line is big. Their quarterback is very good. I can't remember the name of the receiver. 12 was a very good. It was a guy that you mentioned that I thought was very good. And they just kept their composure, and kind of Providence self-destructed.
Yeah. Yep.
You were at a good game though too.
I was out in Sterling. Sterling, Quincy, very good offensively, as we talked about. They're going to put up a lot of points. Very young. Their core are basically all juniors, so they're going to be here for the next couple of years. Was closer than it should have been, honestly. Mm-hmm. I really thought Quincy could have ran away with it, and they didn't. Again, thanks to everybody in Sterling. Just tremendous. I know I had tweeted and Instagram some photos out from Sterling to give people an idea.
That was a really nice.
Just amazing, the setting there. It's unbelievable. I'm pretty safe in saying that's probably one of my top 5 favorite high school campus facilities to see a game. I mean, it's that nice. They've done an amazing job. It's an interesting story with that town. It really is. It's, you're driving into downtown Sterling. It's very similar to downtown Joliet. It's big. It's been there forever. Not a ton going on a Friday night at 6, 7 o'clock. And then you finally drive a little bit more into town, and then you get to the high school. And this high school is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's a 100-plus-year-old high school.
Right.
Pristine. I mean, just completely renovated. All the facilities are brand new and renovated, and it's amazing. So anyway. So again, that was my Friday. Saturday, I went back to Gately. I covered Kenwood and Morgan Park. Got to see Morgan Park first time. Good team. Joliet Catholic. Keep your ears open to that, because depending upon where you go, there's a very good chance you probably run into Morgan Park in the first round or two. So
okay.
So we'll have it. We'll have it all here for you, Joe.
Yes.
I drive thousands of miles so I can make your lives easier on playoff pairing night.
I know
it's
you
my
do.
job. So.
I know you do.
All right. Taking a look at your handy dandy, and I'll show this for our friends on Twitter, on YouTube. This is what Joe prepares every week. It's handwritten, very nice. By the way, the Catholic school teachers should be very proud of your handwriting. For your advanced stage, it has held up very well.
Yeah, it sure has.
Some of us, not so much, but that's okay. So Joe prepares, so we basically have an idea of what everyone's record is and the remaining games on the schedule. So was it 2 years ago, Joe? I think it was 2 years ago. I think 16 teams from the area
16
made the playoffs, which is amazing because there's basically 21 here in the area that we consider our coverage area.
Right.
So there's a good chance we could tie that or maybe even break it this year. Looking at. So here's who we have. 7-0 so far. Lincoln Way East Morris. So they're in. 6-1 teams that are in. Wilmington, Joliet West. How cool is that? Just to say that. Joliet West, 6-1. Lincoln Way West, Lincoln Way Central. How cool is it to say that? Lincoln Way Central, 6-1. They are both in. All 4 of those are in. So there's 6 right there. 5-2s, Coal City, Minooka, JCA in. No one has a point problem there.
No.
Even if they all 3 finish 5-4, they're in.
Yep.
Now, 4-3s, it gets interesting. Providence, plenty of points.
Yes.
Lots and lots of points.
Yep.
So that's something to remember if they, God forbid, they end up 4-5. A couple 4-5s got in last year. Talking to the wizardology of brackets seems to think there could be a handful of 4-5s getting in. So that's
they'll be
important to
over
remember.
50 points come that time.
Right. Lockport at 4-3. They got Bolingbrook this week, HF next week. Joe, I think Bolingbrook's an absolute must-win for Lockport.
Yes.
My feeling.
I agree.
Lamont, Joe. Richards will be a very good game. I don't know about TF North. We'll find out more with Anthony Pignatello, the head coach of TF North, that'll join us late in the 7 o'clock hour. But again, if you're Lamont and Willie, you kind of want to win both. The Tone should be fine. Lyle, Hersher both left. I could see the Tone winding up 6-3.
They'll wind up 6-3, yes.
Teams with 3-4 records. We mentioned Bolingbrook. 2 very tough games to finish here, Joe. They have 40 points this week. So points would be interesting to watch with them as well. Lockport and Lincoln Way East left for Bolingbrook. Plainfield East got to win out, basically. Beat Joliet West this week, then take care of business against Romeoville in week 9. Possibility. Plainfield Central, we will have Rob Keane on the show. Again, Plainfield South this week. Of course, Central never looked past South.
No.
But hopefully they get that win, go in 4-4, and then play Joliet West and hopefully beat them and get in.
Mm-hmm.
Plainfield North.
That one's interesting.
That's real interesting.
Because they have 39 points right now. They play at West Aurora 5-2. West Aurora's lost their last 2 games.
And then Yorkville.
And
Yorkville's been beating everyone, though.
That's true.
They beat Manuka. They beat Oswego.
Yeah,
so
they've actually come alive the last 3 or 4 games of the season.
They have. So that could be a really, really tough game.
That could be the game. If they can get by West Aurora, Plainfield North, that puts them at 4-4. That game could be for a playoff berth.
You're talking 17 teams right now that have a shot. The only ones that are out of it, obviously, Reed Custer 2-5. And hello to our friends down in Reed Custer. We know you're still listening. We're with you. Plainfield South at 1-6. And then we have these 2 squaring off this week, Joe.
Somebody's got to win, Bull.
And by the way, Dave, no, we won't do that. Romeoville 0-7, Joliet Central 0-7. At Romeoville, Joe, who's your pick for that game?
Joliet Central. I'm going with that.
Homer. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will go out to the phone lines. The head coach of your Manuka Indians, probably watching the show off of YouTube on the Jumbotron right now. He'll join us on the phone. We'll break down his game tomorrow night. Our game of the week as the Indian host Oswego. This is the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
They're back.
What? Caramel apples are back at Dan's Homemade Candies?
They are indeed.
You mean that mouth-watering, sweet, delicious, hand-dipped fresh caramel apple from Dan's Homemade Candies? They're there? Like right now?
Yep, all the varieties of caramel apples that start with a crisp, juicy, firm, fresh apple dipped in Dan's smooth, creamy, homemade caramel made fresh daily right there in the store.
Let's go! Should I get the original caramel, chocolate covered, or with nuts, or both?
I'm going for the dark chocolate in the biggest, fattest caramel dripping apple you've ever seen.
Dan's Homemade Candies, here we come.
Dan's Homemade Candies are only here for a limited time at 1003 Plainfield Road in Joliet and in downtown Joliet at 229 East Cass Street. Online at danshomemadecandies.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, these are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini, member FDIC.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust. And with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at many fine retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters. Available at Walmart and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
Welcome back to the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero, Evan Bredesen behind the scenes, spinning the dials. And Joe, we go out to Minooka Community High School. He is probably sitting in the warm press box watching... I'll say a movie. Probably watching a movie on the Jumbotron right now. Head coach Matt Harding joins us. Hello, sir.
How you guys doing?
Good, how's Matt. The Jumbotron? You able to watch movies on that yet, or what?
Yeah, we ordered some pizzas, and we were doing our rain dance out there trying to get the rain to go away.
Well, good luck. Interesting you mentioned the weather. I know we're seeing all kinds of reports. I'm hearing all kinds of rumblings about people keeping an eye on the weather. I assume your folks are keeping an eye on the weather as well for tomorrow?
Yes, so we are. Good thing is we are on turf.
Yes.
If we would have said this 4 years ago, we would have probably had a different conversation.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No doubt about it. It makes everyone's world better. Trust me. There is no doubt about it. Big win last week. No doubt about it. I think that's one you guys certainly needed, and you went out and got it in fine fashion.
Yeah. Our kids played hard. Executed our game plan. Coach Williams on the defensive side really set the tone with his defensive game plan. I think they only had about 111 yards of total offense. So anytime you can take a really good team and limit their yardage like that, you're going to win some football games there. And we didn't turn the ball over, which is also a positive there. So they did a great job, executing the game plan offensively, running the football and taking the shots when they needed to. And man, the explosive plays were all over the place.
Matt, I'm going to tell you a story. I coming home from Providence last week, when I get home and before I talk to Edgy or whenever he calls me, I go online to see the scores. And I knew you guys were winning the game, but I didn't get a final. I told when he called me, and I went to 3 different locations and it all had the same score. Plainfield North 53, Minooka 50. I go, there's no way those guys scored that many points.
By the way, Matt, that's happened a handful of times with you guys this year. You got someone in that Indian Nation that keeps throwing bogus scores out there.
Yeah, I don't know who's in charge of that, So if they're doing that, let's put some accurate scores up there. But yeah, it was like 70-something.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Yeah, I'm going like that.
I said it was 20-3 in the third quarter. The defenses must have just left.
Exactly. They went inside in the locker room and went on the bus. They just walked off.
That's right. You talked about your defense and what a great job they did last week. And we had you in week 1. And, I know you've talked about Caden Garcia, and I love the kid. I made the comment on the radio that first game that when you wear number 0, you must be a very good football player.
Yep.
But I tell you what, he doesn't stop. His motor is unreal to me as a coach that he goes all out in every play. And even the other couple guys on the defensive line, Tristan Parrish, and hopefully I'm saying this young man's name right, Chuck Paracchio. Your front 4 guys really get after it, and Caden Garcia is I think the ringleader of that defensive line.
Yeah, he's the anchor of the D line, and Tristan's a 2-year starter at nose for us, and what that kid does at nose, I mean, I think I've had to talk to him twice all year. He doesn't even practice individual time with the defense. I sent him on the offensive side of the ball. He just does a tremendous job up there of doing what he needs to do. But, Caden Garcia switching his position from outside linebacker to defensive end, was a blessing in disguise. He was the best we had at the time at outside. And, when we started seeing some other guys coming up through the pipeline here, we were like, you know what, I think that kid can put some weight on and play there. He's starting to get some rumblings with the schools. Southern Illinois just called the other day about him, Carbondale, and Coach Clark's, been talking to him and stuff like that. So whoever gets that guy, that's going to be a diamond in the rough that people didn't know about, because he was kind of playing out of position, his first couple of years, but he was doing what's best for the team, and that's truly what he is. I mean, he's a team player.
Seems like,
and Chuck Paracchio on that other side. I mean, he's a junior that'll be coming back next year. Kid's got an unbelievable motor and work ethic, and he's strong as an ox in the weight room.
It seems like the last couple of weeks, Nathan Mall is really come to the forefront. Is that fair?
Yes. We had a long conversation about, if they giving you this read, you throw that read, or you do this, whatever you need to do. We don't need to force stuff with the clientele that we have and the skills and the line that we have. Don't force stuff. Take what they give you, and we're just going to keep pounding, and eventually those other shots are going to open up. So he's really came along. I think last week he was 7 for 10, 3 touchdowns, and 200 and some odd yards passing.
Is it simply confidence? Is it a combination of things? Is it him just kind of things slowing down a little bit for him, Matt? What do you think it is?
Well, I think some of it is to do with the game plan. Taking the game plan and trying to do what's best for Nathan Mall. And trying to limit putting him in situations where it's something hard for him to do. So kind of dialing that game plan in. When you started week 1, you thought you had all this ideas of what you were going to do. And, we're starting to come down to what is the identity of Minooka football, and trying to really dial that in so that he can play at a fast level and make the reads that he needs to make. And he is getting comfortable back there. He didn't start his junior year, so he was a fresh player coming through the ranks, and now he's playing, like a seasoned vet.
The conference, again, usual stuff. I mean, you think you get a handle on someone beats someone else, and it's been, I think, interesting is the best way I can phrase it this year, because you've had 2 or 3 teams that seem very capable of coming out of there with a conference title. You're certainly one of them. Yeah,
I 100% agree. It's you walk in with a game plan, and sometimes mistakes happen, and it really puts you behind the 8 ball. And when you are close together, talent-wise within teams, those little mistakes create big ones for you, and it's what it shows. Don't turn the ball over and make smart reads. You're going to be able to win some football games.
One thing I wanted to ask you, and again, I haven't been over at the school because the restraining order is still in effect. But with all the additions, with the EDGYTIM, with the digital light system, I mean, you already had a great fan base. You had a great student section. When you run that team out there on Friday night, I mean, how much different is it now compared to when you first really came here? I mean, you talk about night and day.
Yeah, it's completely night and day. I started 16 years ago here at the freshman level, and they had a cow pasture out there to begin with, and stands around the other side, and now you come out to an atmosphere that even the officials are like, at the beginning of the game or at the end, they'll talk about the atmosphere that's here. They're like, I've never seen a high school with these lights like this, and everything that's doing and all that. fancy stuff, and I tell the kids, we got to focus on the football game. It's good to have all that flashy stuff, but that stuff goes away if you don't win football games. So it's a great atmosphere to be a part of, and we're fortunate enough that we have an administration and a school board that wants to give our kids every opportunity, and everybody says, yeah, it's about football, but it's also soccer's out there, they got the Jumbotron up going with them, and graduation, parents are going to be able to see their kids walk across stage.
That's awesome.
Because they're going to be up in the nosebleeds because their bleachers are pretty high, and all those kind of things. So yeah, we're out there 4 times a year, but there's a lot more people that are involved with that too, and I can't thank the school board and administration enough for that.
Yeah, obviously you're preaching to the choir when you're talking to me about that stuff, but it changes perception. It changes your curb appeal. It changes everything. It really does. And Matt, you've heard me for many years, and I take a lot of pride in speaking my piece about it. And for a long time, I accused Manuka of living a 4A, 5A pipe dream. That's over. And now the goals are bigger and better. And now that you have this stuff in place, I think it's giving you an even better chance to really go out there and grab those new goals and those reach those new heights as a program. And I think you got them heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. When you got support like that, it's easy to keep shooting higher and higher because you got people that have your back. Yeah. You're not trying to do everything yourself.
I guess the most dangerous animal in the wild is an injured animal. They are very banged up. They had several starters out last week. Does that make them more dangerous than ever because you don't know who's going to be in the starting lineup tomorrow?
No, I don't know if it makes them more dangerous than ever, but Oswego's Oswego. Right. They have their identity. Their identity's been, this for several years. So we know what we're going to get. We know those guys that are coming in, right behind the starter are still going to be disciplined football players that they're very aggressive, in what they do. So, I know they've been banged up with some injuries, but we're planning on those guys coming back. And, we kind of just put our game plan based around those guys being back.
All right. So what time are you going to fire up the heater for Joe tomorrow?
Yeah, that's okay, man.
Good thing Joe's not in the South one because my offensive guys up there said the heater went out last weekend. And so the one in the press box, Joe, the one you're going to be in, I'll fire it up at about noon for you. What, you want it about 82 up there?
Whatever you have it. I know my partner would appreciate it. I know that.
And that's not me. That's Dewey.
That's Dewey, yes.
The one thing I don't have is windshield wipers for the glass up there, so you might have to clean that off.
I'll get Dewey to go outside and use a squeegee.
There you go.
Yeah, freshman, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Still have detention kids? No, you can't go that way. I know. I shouldn't say that. All right, Matt, always appreciate it, my friend. Go get it. Go get a win tomorrow night. And by the way, we will be having a playoff pairing show. So guess what? I get to hassle you on playoff pairing night.
Yes, sir. We'll be ready.
All right, Matt.
All right, good luck, Matt. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, Matt Harding, head coach of Manuka. And yes, Joe, they will have that press box nice and warm and toasty for you tomorrow night.
Yeah. I might have to wear shorts again. No, I will not wear shorts.
No, don't do that. No. All right. We're going to step aside. We're going to take a break. Hour number 1 in the books. Don't go anywhere. We will come back after ABC News in the 7 o'clock hour. Plenty of guests, by the way. We are guest intensive in the 7 o'clock hour. Rob Keane, Plainfield Central, Dan Tito, Joliet West, and Anthony Pignatello, former Lincoln Way East assistant, now head coach at Thornton Fractional North. Stay north, Joe. You're listening to the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk Sports.
Your home for Will County's news, talk, and sports. We're 1340 WJOL.
The Ramsey Show.
If you got $750, Joe Biden wants to know it.
Dave, you're stupid and arrogant.
Not sure where you went to school for your math class, but you failed. You people in corporate America are idiots. You're just dumb. But I think we're confused as to who's arrogant on this call, brother.
I've got a book suggestion for Chris. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a classic.
You should read it.
The Ramsey Show, weeknights at 6, here on 1340 WJOL.
From the Abri Credit Union Studio, this is Will County's News Talk Sports, WJOL, Joliet. From the Abri Credit Union Studio, this is Will County's News Talk Sports, WJOL, Joliet.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Making a tour of Mideast countries to get support from leaders regarding the Israel-Hamas war, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken now in Jordan's capital, Amman. Blinken says in Israel, leaders showed him photos of what Hamas fighters did in Israel. He says he saw an infant's bullet-riddled body, beheaded soldiers, and a family in a final embrace burned to death.
It almost defies human comprehension precisely because it's not human. And it reminds me, in some ways, of the worst of what we saw from ISIS a few years ago.
Hospitals in the Gaza Strip are at a breaking point, says the UN World Health Organization. At the White House, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby.
We are having conversations with Israeli officials about the continued need for humanitarian assistance for the Palestinian people who are victims here as well.
Hamas calling for a global day of action against Israelis and Jews tomorrow. U.S. police departments are on alert. At New York's Columbia University, pro-Palestinian protests across the street from a pro-Israel demonstration. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on security steps being taken.
Our deployment is also not only to our synagogues that are high profile, but also many of the mosques that are high profile, because we do not want anyone that comes with an extremist mindset to attack any religious institution or house of worship.
New York City Mayor Adams, a jury in Adams County, Colorado, has found Randy Rodema guilty of criminally negligent homicide and assault in the death of Elijah McClain. Rodema and Jason Rosenblatt were the two officers first tried in connection to McClain's death. After a bunch of hurry up and wait this afternoon, the House Republican Conference is meeting to continue its discussions on who should be the new speaker. Steve Scalise now taking himself out of it, lacking the 217 votes needed. You're listening to ABC News.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
More evidence of Latinos having a huge impact on the U.S. economy.
Latinos have contributed more than $3 trillion to the U.S. economy, according to a report by UCLA and Cal Lutheran.
Latinos are the best thing that ever happened to the United States.
David Hayes Bautista is a UCLA professor and founding researcher of this study. And as Hispanic Heritage Month winds down, Beatriz Acevedo, who owns a business teaching Latinos to build generational wealth, says companies should get involved with Latinos not out of a quest for diversity.
It's the right thing to do if you want to thrive and succeed.
If Latinos were their own country, they'd have the world's 5th highest GDP. Brian Clark, ABC News.
In Las Vegas, a walkout by resort workers.
Thousands of culinary union workers are heading out to picket lines in front of some of Las Vegas's biggest resorts as they negotiate with MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment, and Wynn. They want better wages and working conditions, citing workload and inflation. The union's Ted Papageorge says negotiations have not been going well.
It's the workers that got them through the pandemic, and it's the workers that have led them to these incredible profits.
The union says the pickets are a warning to the resorts that if they cannot come to a deal, a strike could happen in the next few weeks. Alex Stone, ABC News.
About 71 million Social Security recipients will get more money starting in January. Benefits will increase by 3.2%. This is ABC News.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced.
For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Time for maintenance on my furnace. Gotta find the best price.
Well, price is important, but not at the expense of quality. You need the best, most professional service, too. You don't want to be without heat in the middle of winter.
All right, so who do you trust?
Well, I've been using Roscope's Heating and Cooling for years. They're always so professional with my heating maintenance, and Roscope's goes above and beyond and will check all the gas-fired appliances in our house for safety, not just the furnace.
Like my stove or clothes dryer or water heater, too?
Yep, Roscope's checks all of the above, and of course, thoroughly cleans our heating system. They'll make sure it's all safe and ready to go, and my winters are stress-free. For my furnace, anyway. I already called them this year, and you'll appreciate this. They're honoring last year's pricing.
That alone is reason enough to call.
Oh, true, but remember, it's about more than price.
I get it. I'm calling Roscope's Heating and Cooling today.
Or go online, ROUSCULPS.com. That's ROUSCULPS.com. Join local, family-owned Wilk Real Estate every Wednesday at 9 a.m. for Today's Real Estate with Brent Wilk. Local and experienced realtor Brent Wilk will welcome expert guests each week to discuss topics like home prices and interest rates, mortgage lending, home improvement and maintenance, navigating the legal details of buying and selling, and the latest developments from your community leaders and city officials. Tune in every Wednesday at 9 a.m. to hear Today's Real Estate with Brent Wilk on 1340 WJOL.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at many fine retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters. Available at Walmart and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust, and with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
A part of our community's rich tradition, St. Peter Evangelical Lutheran Church at 310 North Broadway Street in Joliet has been sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ for over 165 years and has the nation's longest-running continuous Sunday morning broadcast beginning in 1926. Reverend David Totsky, pastor of St. Peter's, invites you to join them in worship every Sunday for their divine service in person at 9 a.m. or on their radio broadcast at 11 a.m. here on 1340 WJOL.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is hour number 2 of the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL. EDGYTIM here along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero.
Yes, sir.
Evan Bredesen behind the scenes, spinning the dials. And this edition and every edition of Pigskin Preview brought to you by State Farm agents John Wright in Joliet and Kevin Malloy in New Lenox. Like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
Also, congrats to the Week 7 winner of the State Farm agent Kevin Malloy Pigskin Preview Player of the Week, which is Joliet Catholic Academy junior running back Keegan Farnes. Keegan Farnes. So again, congratulations. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and 100 yards rushing in the Hilltoppers 49-8 win over those Leo Lions. So there you go. Joe, our broadcast schedule is as follows: 7:05 Friday Night Lights, the pregame show.
6:05.
Yeah, it was close. And then we said 6:12 would be the Dave Dwyer pregame show, and then 7 o'clock, or when Dewey feels like taking it, it'll be kickoff between Oswego at Minooka. So that is our game of the week. And Joe, not sure if you're aware of this or not.
No,
it's playoff time out of Plainfield Central.
It sure is.
It sure is. And we bring in the head coach of your Plainfield Central Oh my God, I almost forgot. Plainfield Central Wildcats. Thank you. God, wow, it's heck to get old. Coach, it's heck to get old. Welcome aboard and
what I
happy
hear.
playoffs.
Well, hey guys, appreciate you having me on. We been a fun couple weeks for us. I think it was said well. We kind of painted ourselves into a corner a little bit, but what's life without a little bit of added pressure and fun to it all, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
We'll go, we agree with you.
We agree.
Oh man.
Obviously, as we talked about it, this is your playoffs beginning now, and I got to imagine that's kind of the attitude your kids are taking as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think ultimately at the end of the day, as we've talked to the kids about the fact that if we wanted to win and get a week 10, we were going to have to win 4 games in a row.
Right.
And I think it's obviously a little bit different. But I think if you talk to anybody, and obviously, Coach, you've been in it for a long time, is if you're talking about trying to win a state title in any situation, no matter what week of the playoffs it is for you, whether you're week 5 because you got to win out from 5 on, you got to win one at a time. And that's kind of been what we focused on. The same as when we're on the field, we're going to play one play at a time. We're going to live and die in the moment. So our kids have embraced that. They've done a great job the last 2 weeks. Excited about another opportunity to be able to go do it tomorrow. And obviously it's the original Plainfield rivalry. That means a lot to some people. So we're going to do what we can to represent our school and community as best as possible. So.
Rob, I watched a little tape of the game last week, and who was very impressive to me, and I think he had a good game, was Malik Jasmine.
Malik Jasmine.
Boy, I tell you what, once he gets by that front 7 or so, he has some great acceleration.
For sure. He's a special kid. He's a junior. He was up with us for all 10 of our games last year. We had a little bit of an issue early in the season. He, had a little bit of a setback in terms of not behavior or anything, but he missed some time, right? So he missed the middle third of the season last week. It was his first week back, and man, I'll tell you what, it looked like he was doing something special in the weight room while he was resting up. So it was great to see him back, and honestly, so happy for him. He's worked so hard in the off season. We look at him the same as a senior and everybody else, and he'll be the first one to tell you that the 5 guys up front are the ones that are doing a lot of the work for him too. So it's a special group. It's fun to see them finally kind of start coming together now that we've gotten healthy. We've put ourselves in some difficult spots, I think, but some tough breaks like a lot of schools too. So it's fun now to see everybody kind of start coming together and gelling, and hopefully we'll get to play a couple more weeks together and go from there.
Yeah, no doubt. Plainfield South, as you mentioned, I mean, anytime you guys get together and anything, it's a big deal for sure. Talk about them a little bit. You first-year head coach there, obviously, with Roseman, and kind of what can your fans expect out of the Cougars tomorrow night?
Sure. They don't have a dome, so everybody's got to bring umbrellas. That's the first thing.
Joe, these schools have to work on that.
They do. Coach.
Yeah, the dome stuff.
The dome, correct. We don't have freshmen washing the windows at our place either, so
dang it! Come on, Rob.
Working, right?
You're gonna get me in trouble, Rob.
Well, I gotta figure out a plan, is what it is. But I'm gonna see if we can get somebody on the payroll for that. But tomorrow's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna be honest. Their defense is good. Rob's been there for a long time, and he's done a great job. And you change it, obviously, whenever you look at a change in direction of a program. Bicker did a great job there for years, and Roseman's doing a great job getting his kids ready every week. You can see how tough they're playing. I think that they're better than their record. It maybe indicates that defense is tough. The offense is starting to come together for them as well. It's going to be another hard-hitting SPC football game. That's what I think. And I think if it does rain, from what they say, that it's got a chance to make it a little bit more fun. And we're going to look to do everything that we try to do every week: move the ball, be able to, spread it out, and then be effective when we're on the ground and play good, hard-hitting defense, which is what we look to pride ourselves on. So,
talk a little bit about that defense. I mean, I thank you for some of the stats that you sent me. Mason Smith and Josiah Taylor, and a guy that seems like he's been there for about 8 years playing football for you, Cage Leffler.
Yeah, for sure. Gage is another kid that missed some time early on, and he came back halfway through the year, and he's really starting to hit what many people would call midseason form. And while maybe some guys' legs are getting tired this part of the year, Gage is more amped up than ever. Mason obviously was a heck of a player. I think anybody that's watched our film or has watched us play saw Mason playing both linebacker and tailback when Malik was out and doing different things. So, if you're talking about a kid that really said, hey, put the team on my back and go, that's one of them right there. Josiah is a kid that, young coming in, we weren't sure exactly who he was going to be. And, the week-to-week improvements that we see from him just continue to become more and more exponential. So it's been awesome to see really the growth. It's funny, guys. It feels like it was not 8 weeks ago that we were all sitting out on the patio.
Yeah, I know.
Weather, right?
Yep.
But it's crazy when you start to think about how far each one of these kids has grown and how much they've done. And you start to look at your coaching staff a little bit when you get into week 8 and you're making sure everybody's good to go and this fire that they see from them because they see the same growth out of their groups and stuff. It's just such an awesome thing to see. So proud of that defensive group, the way that they've continued to fight for us and put our offense in spots to try to score some points.
Give us an update on the lower levels. How are things gone there? Number wise, good there?
Sure. Yeah, we continue to, it's a process, development. Our enrollment in our school's down a little bit. So that's something that's definitely been reflected, I think, across sports programs. We're hoping to be able to see some changes that'll hopefully help that. Our lower levels are an awesome thing because we get so many kids. Typically, we get about 50% of our kids each year that have never played organized tackle football before their freshman year. So when we see the growth, that those kids make, again, right? The old expression, coach, is the team's biggest growth comes between week 1 and 2. And I think we see that in our players too. So maybe we're not always getting the same wins and results, losses that I know that everybody would like to, but to see how hard they're working and to see how they continue to go regardless of what the scoreboard says at the end of a game is truly an impressive thing. And it's a testament to those kids and their hard-nosed blue-collar attitudes that they're going to keep coming to work every day and try to get better and better and better. And, that's what we've hung our hats on as a program the last 3 years, really.
Awesome. Hey, again, always great to hear from you. And obviously, we wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. And what the heck? Win a couple more and keep this thing going for a while.
Yes.
Huh?
Hey, we'll appreciate it. And, we'll see. I just bought a winter coat, so I got to make sure that I get to use it, right?
Exactly.
And Rob, I wasn't at the coaches show, and that Snickers bar that you had for me, that never got to me. So I got to blame either the guy.
It was delicious. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hopefully I'll see you down the road and we can share one.
Well, sounds good. Hopefully we'll cross paths between 10 and 14 and we'll crack open a few. Yeah, Snickers. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Got it.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah. Good luck, Rob.
Sounds good, guys. Hey, be well and stay warm. All right.
Yeah,
Yes,
no doubt.
sir.
You too. All right. Rob
Thanks,
Keane joining us from Plainfield Central. And again, Joe, just we'll see. We'll see what the weather brings.
And, he was talking about the team and again, as any coach knows that you want to start playing, there's like Lincoln Weiss plays good every week and we have Morris plays, but in this situation with Rob, he's seeing progress and you want to play your best football at the end of the year. So you never know what's going to happen. And, they've got a chance, as they always say, a chip in a chair.
Yeah,
you've got a chance, and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it's been an interesting scenario because Joliet West has been the hunted. I mean, it's everyone.
Right. Yep.
Everyone's trying to get a piece of that conference, and once again, you look at Central's schedule. Who's there week 9?
That's right.
Joliet West.
Yes.
So again, Joliet West this week has to, they've got Plainfield East that's 3 and 4, and they're trying to get a piece and trying to get in. So someone's going to be looking to take out Joliet West.
And both of those teams, East and Central, has won their last 2 games. So they're on a little bit of a roll right now.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for sure. And we'll obviously be paying close attention to that game tomorrow night. Joe, let's go through some quick games real quick while we got a minute here around the area because, we all want to know your picks every week. So.
Sure.
So let's do like your pregame show. You ready? Coal City at Herscher, Joe.
Coal City.
Lyle at Piatone.
The Tone.
Mantino at Wilmington.
Oh, Wilmington.
I feel like Vanna White. Streeter at Reed Custer.
Reed Custer's going to get one tomorrow night.
There you go. Morris at Ottawa.
Game over.
Joe.
You gotta mix it up if you're gonna do the impression.
What?
You gotta throw an occasional like.
I'll get there.
Bolingbrook, Tin Man.
Joe, who's gonna win between 0-7 Joliet Central and 0-7 Romeoville?
I'm going to pick Joliet Central.
Joe, it's the Battle of Plainfield, Central at South.
I'm going to go with Plainfield Central.
Oh, sure, just because we had the head coach on.
I had him already picked before the show started.
Suck up. Plainfield East, Joe, they've won 2 in a row, taking on Joliet West.
That's where it'll stop. Joliet West wins.
West Aurora, is it really West, though? At Plainfield North.
West Aurora's, they lost their last 2 games. And Plainfield North plays outstanding defense. I'm going to take Plainfield North.
We had Matt Harding on a little while ago. We previewed Oswego at Minooka. Another interesting game here, Joe. Lockport at Bolingbrook. It's kind of a must-win for both teams.
Yes. I'm going to go with the Porters here. I really am, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Sandburg at Lincoln Way East. Well, we all know what happened 2 years ago when Sandburg went to Lincoln Way East. It wasn't a good night for Lincoln Way East.
It's not going to happen this year. Lincoln Way East.
Okay. Lincoln Way Central at Andrew.
This is going to be kind of a tough game, but I'm picking Lincoln Way Central.
Joliet Catholic on the road at Marmion.
The Hilltoppers.
The hell. Lincoln Way West, Joe, on the road at home at Flossmoor.
I tossed and turned on this one because it is at home with Flossmoor, but Lincoln Way West has been on a roll ever since that loss to Belleville East, and I'm picking Lincoln Way West.
Joe, the Emerald Isle hits the road. They pack up the shillelaghs and they travel to Mount Carmel. Will the Celtics have to quick kick and get a safety in this game?
The weather may play a huge factor here, but I'm going to pick Mount Carmel.
Lamont at Richards, Joe.
Must win for Willie. They've got to win these games. I'm picking Lamont.
And again, want to wish our friend and the guy with the worst luck in the entire world,
yes,
Joe Curry, 4-2 St. Francis at home, Saturday, 12 o'clock at Busey Bank Field. They will host 0-5 Judson, and Coach Curry put it on them. Just put it on them. Nothing against Judson. I just feel bad for Joe. So,
yes, I agree. He has no luck.
Another heartbreaking loss last week, and unbelievable. So
he's lost a couple times in overtime.
Oh, I know,
hasn't he?
I know.
Man.
Yeah. All right, we'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will go out to the phone lines, and we will talk with Dan Tito, head coach of the being heavily chased Joliet West Tigers. We'll get an update and a check on how things are going over on the west side of Joliet Township. When we come back, this is the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
Will County Seniors, a nonprofit organization serving senior citizens and their families, has provided resources and programming to senior citizens in the county since 1966. Through a variety of activities and support services, Will County Seniors helps adults over 55 maintain their independent, active lifestyle. As our community has grown over the decades, so have our services to the families of seniors. The next phase of Will County Seniors will be the opening of the Ovation Center in Romeoville. The over 100,000 square foot Ovation Center will serve as a gathering place for seniors and a place where seniors and their families can go for valuable services. Leasing offices within the Ovation Center provide an ideal opportunity for businesses or service organizations that work with seniors and their families, such as medical offices or massage therapy, or professional services including legal, financial, and insurance services. For more information about leasing space for your growing business in the Ovation Center, visit theovationcenter.org. That's theovationcenter.org.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's
America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Jiffy Lube has teamed up with Meals on Wheels to help provide meals and more to seniors in our community. Join us in making a difference in the lives of our aging neighbors by donating at your local Jiffy Lube Service Center throughout the month of October. 100% of funds raised support Meals on Wheels programs in your local community. And for each customer who donates to the Meals on Wheels program, Jiffy Lube will make a donation to help provide even more meals to local seniors. For a list of Jiffy Lube locations, visit ChicagolandJiffyLube.com. Jiffy Lube, drive to do more.
Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. We provide custom-fit wheelchairs for veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. When they are denied the services they deserve, we stand in the gap. To join the mission and support America's heroes, you can visit our website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org. We are a 501c3 organization and part of the combined federal campaign. Visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back to the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL. Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM, along with the coach Joe Rodriguero, Evan Bredesen, and now joining us, he's become more famous by the day, Joe.
Yes, he has.
Dan Tito, head coach of your Joliet West Tigers. And Dan, I was just talking to Joe Rodriguero a little while ago. Do you know what the ultimate sign of making it in the Joliet area is? Dan,
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
I do not. No, what is it?
It is when you take a selfie with Randy Whalen.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we achieved that today.
I know you did.
You know,
You
he was
made
like, hey,
it.
you know, and he stopped by, and in my head, I'm like, oh, I hope he takes a selfie. I hope he takes a selfie. He's like, yeah, I do this thing where I take selfies. I was like, yes.
You've made it. Congratulations.
I made it.
You're in the club.
You're a celebrity now for sure.
What I love about Randy is you cannot not take a selfie with him. I mean, it's like he gets personally upset if you don't like stop and automatically take a selfie. And again, we tease Randy. Randy's the best.
Oh, he is.
Randy's one of the best
he's
guys in the day. Dan, I'm telling you what, Randy Whalen would be traveling the state on a weekend. He would cover 7 games and find an 8-hour stop at a casino in between. Unbelievable.
That's right.
Unbelievable, that guy. Congratulations on the success, pal.
Yes.
Again, it's by the
Thank you.
way, we'll officially welcome you into the playoffs. I don't know if anyone else has done that yet, but we will.
Yes.
And yet you still have a couple of interesting things to play for.
Absolutely. I mean, going into tomorrow, we were playing a Plainfield East team that's 3-0 on, we're both 3-0 in the conference.
Yep.
So, this is, with Plainfield Central having 1 loss right now, this would be for a share of the conference championship. And that's, and obviously next week there's more to play for as well. But, we've been very, very just keyed in, laser focused on what we need to accomplish this week against the team with, they got some players, right? Zero Sykes, the linebacker, he's pretty solid.
Yep.
Obviously Quinn Morris came back after injury. He's pretty good. Obviously Brandon Paredes, the quarterback over there, he's got the ability to extend plays. He's good on his feet. And they just came off of an exciting win over Plainfield South, winning, pretty much in the last minute and, stuffing it, at the goal line. So, they're, you're telling our kids, they're excited, they're motivated, they're fighting for a playoff spot, they're fighting for a conference championship, and we got to take care of business tomorrow.
How different is it being the hunted?
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same thing.
We've talked about kind of my story before, and my only experience coaching is at Joliet West, and this is certainly a new experience.
Yeah.
It's different, and one of the things our athletic director, Steve Millsaps, talks about is welcoming pressure and how that pressure shapes us and makes us better as a team and improves us as well. So It's nice being the hunted, being the team that everyone's chasing, but we also have to realize that everyone is chasing us, and we need, to keep ourselves sharp, and we need to not take any weeks for granted because everyone's coming after us because we're the big prize right now.
And that's relayed. I know you talked about Steve and you guys relaying it to the kids, and I'm sure the kids know that and take that in and kind of a badge of honor for them to be the target for once at Joliet West, that everybody's looking at them.
Yeah, and we told our kids, like, let's be greedy. Like, don't be complacent. Yeah, 6 wins. We're only the 4th team to do it since 1968, and we've clinched playoffs. But let's be greedy. Let's keep doing it. Let's win a conference championship outright. We haven't won a conference championship outright since the '60s. The one we won in 19 was shared 3 ways with Plainfield Central and Plainfield South. So we haven't won an outright conference championship since. I think my mom was in diapers. So, be greedy with that. We never had a home playoff game. Be greedy with that. Like, we still have things to play for. We still have teams that are looking to knock us off as well.
Health-wise, where are you at?
Health-wise, we're good. Health-wise, we're good. I mean, Juan came back. Juan Rico, our quarterback, came back last week.
Good.
And he had a terrific game against Romeoville. Javarion Brown, who, the poor kid, like, we were playing against Yorkville, and he hurt his finger on the first drive, and he was out. And then against Plainfield North, he came back and then did something to his meniscus, and he was out. And, he's finally coming back. And, he came in as a returning starting defensive lineman. And so, we've been missing him on our D-line. And, the guys have stepped up. And something, just kind of a recurring theme throughout this whole year is that we've had guys step up, and with Javarion's absence, Niles Tate has stepped up, Christian Caldwell stepped up. But he's coming back. Unfortunately, we lost a wide receiver, Ian Farrell, to a shoulder injury. One of our team leaders, and but he just kind of went out, middle of the Romeoville game, and I wish him the best, but he's but that's really the only ones we have hurt are LaDainian Tucker, who got tore his ACL against Morris week 2, and then obviously Ian went down as well. But we're actually, if you look 3-4 weeks ago, we're actually healthier this game than we were 3-4 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah. And the Farrell kid, I really liked him. I've seen him a couple times on tape, saw him at Joliet when you guys played Joliet Central. But again, one other guy just kind of impresses me. He's a guy that kind of goes over the middle because he is kind of big. I call him a tight end, but you kind of split him out a little bit, and that's Patrick Schwarting.
Parker Schwarting, yeah. Parker Schwarting, and you know what? This is one of the cool things being their freshman coach. Parker Schwarting was like my height. And if you haven't seen me in person, I am not vertically impressive. So,
But the beard is awesome, though. The beard is awesome.
But the beard is awesome.
The beard's
it's
pretty
almost
top-notch.
Yeah, it is. So short.
Yeah.
But his freshman year, he was maybe 2 centimeters taller than me, and then all of a sudden I turned around and he's 7 feet tall. And what gets missed with Parker is just how good of a route runner he is and how smart of a receiver he is. And he's got terrific hands. He's obviously got a big frame, big body. But I don't think in my time at West I've seen a receiver understand space and how to manipulate that to get open.
So obviously, you're in the playoffs. When do you begin to, let's say, broaden the horizons a little bit and maybe just kind of get a feel for maybe some of the other teams out there? Or has that started, or when will that begin for you?
I'm really focused on Plainfield East. We're all really focused on Plainfield East. And we also don't want to overlook Plainfield Central next week either. I mean, Plainfield Central, they've beaten us, I believe. They've beaten us the last, 3 years now. So, we're talking about 2 teams that, obviously very talented team, Plainfield East, and you guys had Rob on earlier. Rob does a great job with his guys, and they'll be ready for us. I'm kind of in the mindset right now that every single week there's a million moving parts, and right now it's impossible to gauge who we would be playing in that first round. But I think something I talked about with you guys earlier in the season is just our approach and how we don't want to grind kids onto the ground, how we want to keep them fresh. And, I believe that that's something that we've been trying to do all season. I think that's going to, as we get closer to playoffs and as we're healthier now, that's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's no doubt about it. Again, and I like the fact that, and Joe and I talked about this, I like the fact that you're playing teams that are going to give you your best shot. The last thing you want to come into is a 1-7 or a 2-6 that, let's face it, what do they have left to play? Except, they're killing time. So, now you're going to get everyone's best game all the way through week 9. I think it makes you better.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk to our kids. We're trying to gear to playoffs. We have to have that mindset right now. That we have 2 teams coming up that they're fighting for their playoff lives, and we need to take care of business.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, Dan, always good to talk to you. I thought we'd check in and see how things are going. Obviously, they're going just fine, and that's great. Again, I think one of the best stories in the area this year is the turnaround and the work that you've been able to do and get done, and you and your staff at Joliet West. So, again, just congratulations to you and your guys. And, pal, it's going to be fun to talk playoff football with you and Joliet West in a couple weeks.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. We're super looking forward. It's nice to have that ready now instead of finding out week 9 if we actually get in.
Yes, for sure.
That's the way. Dan, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Dan.
Thank you, Dan, guys, for having me on.
You bet. All right, Dan Tito joins us. And again, in case you haven't heard, he's officially made it.
Yes.
Once you get that selfie, have you had a selfie with Randy Whalen? No. See, you haven't made it. So
Edgy and I have.
We have this summer. Took us this long. Don't be jealous, Evan. It's okay. I'll take one with you if you want.
They ever let me out of the studio, I might be able to get a selfie, but I'm stuck back here.
You're never going to be.
I have to make sure you knuckleheads can get on the radio okay.
That's right.
Yeah, and you do a fine job.
Yes, he does.
Fine job. What a great story. I mean, we do have some great stories in this area. Evan, get behind a microphone on this one too. So when we talk about Coach of the Year, and it's going to be a little difficult because, I mean, you got what Dan Tito obviously has done over at Joliet West. You have, let's face it, Zeke could be Coach of the Year every year.
Every year.
Every single year. And you wouldn't be wrong. Lincoln Way Central, in less than a year, has turned that thing around. They've got a shot at winding up 8-1.
Yes.
Lincoln Way West has a shot at winding up 8-1.
And doing it with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Those stories alone. And
how about Morris?
Yeah, that's
kind of a given.
It's kind of a given at this point. And Alan has done such a good job, and I continue to preach the fact that it's such a hard job in that town, in that community. You have some serious critics in that town.
It's as close to in our area as you can get to a Friday Night Lights, where the community lives or dies.
Oh, for sure.
With the result of the high school football
I don't
game.
know if it, Joe and Evan, if it's as intense as it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, but it's still pretty intense. It's still pretty intense in Morris. I think the whole Darlington-Durgo factor brought it to a fever pitch.
Yeah,
I think Alan's been there for a while now, and I think maybe that has settled in a little bit, but I'm sure he'd have something different to say.
I also think, though, a part of that was the rivalry with Joliet Catholic and some of the other teams in the area that they no longer see on a regular basis. That was an annual playoff matchup. When I was at Joliet Catholic in the early 2000s, every year the guys would say the same thing. It doesn't mean anything until we play Morris. They knew they were going to have to go through them. They don't play anymore, unfortunately, in the postseason. So I think that's maybe why the intensity might not seem the same, because it doesn't have that rivalry factor that gets both sides galvanized, and then, the trash talk and all the fun stuff that the fans get to experience. because we don't get that anymore, I feel like maybe that's why we don't necessarily have the same level of excitement around Morris.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yep.
So again, obviously that's a given, what he's been able to do. Those are some really good candidates that we're going to have to do a lot of thinking on, and we'll see how things shake out in the next handful of weeks. And once we get into the postseason, we'll start talking postseason awards and what have you, and we'll start breaking it down. All right, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We are bringing up next in, we'll have a former Lincoln Way East assistant coach, now the head coach at Thornton Fractional North. The Mighty Meteors are out to a 6-1 start this year. We will have Anthony Pignatello joining us. And Joe, stay north, buddy. You're listening to Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
Do you have ugly countertops? You need new granite or quartz countertops. There's only one place to get them. They're affordable, fast, have great customer care, and the quality is perfect. That place is Surface Solutions in Mokina, right off Interstate 80 and LaGrange Road. Surface Solutions was voted best place to buy granite or quartz by Southland's Best. So don't live with ugly countertops. Come look, touch, and feel tons of samples, including over 70 slabs on display and hundreds of discounted remnants to choose from right in Mokina. Don't settle for the other guy's back pocket samples. Come see the full slab difference. Surface Solutions will measure, fabricate, and install your new countertops in no time. Surface Solutions, voted best place to buy granite or quartz by Southland's Best. Located near 194th and LaGrange Road in Mokina, just off I-80. For information, go to surfacesolutionsIL.com. That's surfacesolutionsIL.com. Stop living with ugly countertops.
It's obvious. The unthinkable is going to happen soon. With all the distractions in the media, we probably won't see it coming. Your gut tells you there's something very wrong going on, and all the evidence suggests that there is. Those in charge say everything's fine. Stop noticing. But you know better. American families are preparing. Folks are getting into self-reliance and investing in emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, is the place you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. For a limited time, save 25%, plus get free shipping on all their 3-month emergency food kits. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship the same day. It's time to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Hi, this is State Farm Agent John Wright. Every team knows the 2-point play can be a winning move. That's why I can help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score savings by combining your home and auto with me, State Farm Agent John Wright. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, John Wright, at 815-725-5052 today.
Hey, Scott Slocum here. Have you heard? We're bringing back our radio stage production of It's a Wonderful Life at the magnificent Rialto Square Theater. Think 1940s live radio stage production. Sound effects on stage, scripts falling, tons of fun as we retell this classic story with George, Mary, Mr. Potter, that's me, Clarence, and lots of crowd participation. That means you. All proceeds go right back to the Rialto Square Theater. Come have fun with us on Friday, December 8th. Tickets at Ticketmaster or in person at the Rialto box office.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus, plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM here, along with the coach Joe Rodriguero and Evan Bredesen, spinning the dials behind the scenes. And Coach Joe?
Yes, sir.
There are some TF North fans listening and watching us tonight. Hello, everybody on YouTube watching us right now. Great to have you aboard. And Joe,
yes, sir.
I try not to give you a lot of life lessons, but this one I'm going to give you. You ready?
Okay.
Joe, stay on the north side of fractional and never cross that line. Okay.
Okay.
Here on the north side of fractional, Joe, the going is mighty fine.
Yep.
The Fighting Meteors of fractional, Joe, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but they're out to do or die. So ring in a cheer and give them a bit. No, okay, that's the old. That was my made up lyric. So ring out a cheer and you say and give them a beer, but let them know that you're here. You're from Thornton Fractional North. Let's bring in Anthony Pignatello, head coach of your Thornton Fractional North Meteors. Anthony Pignatello, and Coach, congratulations on the success.
Awesome. Thank you, Edgy. Appreciate you throwing the school song out there. It's been a lot of fun seeing our boys getting an opportunity to sing that to their fans again. Coach, thanks for having me on. It's awesome to be here with you guys tonight.
Well, again, this will show you how bright we are here on the show. So, obviously, I've told Joe I've known Pignatello since I was a kid. It's between the whole Pignatello side of the family and the Cal City connection, going back to Our Lady of Knock, it goes way, way back and way, way deep. And again, just have known your family for many, many years, and great people. And so obviously we've known you guys for a while, and Joe, your connection with Joe. And then Joe, what was it, last week? You said something about, I was looking at the Lincoln Way. Go ahead, tell the story.
Well, I told Anthony on the phone on Sunday when I talked to him, I got the roster for the Lincoln Way West Lockport game 2 weeks ago, and I always go to the coaches, see if I know anybody, and I'm going down, and I knew Anthony was coaching at Lincoln Way East. And I didn't see Anthony's name. I'm going, wait a minute, what happened here? I go, well, wait a minute. So I went online. I said, maybe he went back to TF North. And that's when
sure enough,
sure it's going to rain tomorrow, Anthony. You were the head coach, and rightfully so. And
we're so stupid.
I called Edgy right away. I said, Anthony's the head coach at your alma mater.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I know that, but it literally did not put one on one together.
He didn't tell me, Anthony. So he doesn't tell me a whole lot anyway.
Just stop it. The point being, we are thrilled for you.
Yes.
Glad you took over the alma mater. You got to fill us in. How were you able to get this done this quick?
Well, it starts with the kids, and then obviously the staff that I put around me. Any good coach will tell you that it's good coaches around the head coach that make things go, and I have an outstanding support staff in my assistant coaches. But I want to go back really quick to something regarding family. My wife and kids are actually out in the car right now. My daughter had a sixth grade basketball game. Yes, they did win, and they're listening to this old school on the radio right now, and they think it's the coolest in the world. So I got to give my kids, Ella, Carmen Jr., and Luca, a big shout out, and just a friendly reminder to keep it down when they get back to the house. On the phone. But
that's awesome.
Back to this whole thing, it's a dream come true. I've talked to so many different people from around the area, alumni, people in the building, former players, people from other programs who have reached out and extended their support and congratulations for the success we've had this year. But ultimately, it comes back to these kids and what we're asking them to do, and them buying into those things. And then the staff. I just have an unbelievable collection of guys who I could not be more happy to have along with me for this ride.
Anthony, Edge, I got to tell you a little bit more about Anthony.
Okay.
I've known him so long. He's a charter member and a stockholder in Chooch Construction. I'll have to tell you the story about Chooch Construction someday. But Anthony, when I found out that you had the job and I was very proud that you did, because I know you went for it before, and we talked about that on Sunday. What was it like to getting prepared by working with Rob? We talked to Dave Woodburn over at Lincoln Way Central early in the year, but what working with Rob Zavonar meant to you in order to take this jump to take over your own team?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up Coach Z. I'd be remiss getting on this radio call with you guys in Griffin land to not bring up my experience and my appreciation for the guys at Lincoln Way East. Obviously starting with Coach Z, giving that opportunity, and then working on the offense side of the ball with Coach Palisard. and the rest of the offensive staff. But the entire staff at East is absolutely elite, and you don't have to spend a lot of time around those guys to realize why they are as successful as they are. Nobody outworks them, and it just was a very, very unique and awesome special opportunity to have that experience, to have a front row seat at what I believe is the best high school program in the state of Illinois. So I could probably take up the rest of the hour talking about my time there and those experiences, but a huge, huge place in my heart for Lincoln Way East football, the community around it, and then obviously the coaching staff who I got to spend many years with, learning from those guys on a daily basis and just watching how they go about their work, their process. And then I texted Coach Z not long ago telling him the best compliment I could pay him is that there's a whole lot of Lincoln Way East flavor sprinkled into what we're doing over at the
Very good.
I bet.
Very good.
I bet.
Yeah, we've seen that, Coach. I've seen that a handful of places over the last few years where you see that connection and some things borrowed here and there, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it obviously works. Talk about your staff a little bit. Talk about some of the guys that are on and maybe some that were in building and some that aren't in the building. Who are some of the guys on your staff?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about these guys. So I'll start with my side of the ball with the offense. I have Mike Anaclerio, who I need to spend a little time talking about what he means to our program on the special teams side of things too. But he is a wide receiver coach. I'll come back to that in regards to special teams in a second. Then Will Johnson, who's a former teammate of mine. He graduated a year ahead of me. So Will and I played together for 3 years in the program. And Will's been coaching around the area for some time now. It was a blessing to get him to come back. He's working with both our offense and defensive lines. And then Tyler Fortier is our strength and conditioning coach, who also works with our linebackers and running backs. He's the head baseball coach at TF North, who took over after I stepped away from that. And we're happy to have Tyler on board. He's a Richard Bulldog, so he's tough and he fits our mold pretty darn well. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, it doesn't get much better than these guys. Guys that I played in the system, believe in it, trust in it. It starts with our defensive coordinator, Artie Rogers, who is also a former head coach of the program, and means the world to me. If I'm being quite frank, without Artie, I'm probably not at TF North and having this conversation with you guys right now. So I'm forever indebted to him and what he's done for our program. And we were very lucky to get him to come back. And with him is his right-hand man on that side of the ball, Fred Schultes, who is our linebacker coach when we were playing there, Will and I, who does an outstanding job with his unit and just really, really does a great job working with our kids on a daily basis. And then to round out the defensive staff, we have Travis Newsom, who's an elite defensive back coach, Leo grad, Benedictine grad. We coached together for several years at TF North and then had a unique opportunity to coach against each other in the 2019 semifinal game. For Travis's sake, I'll just leave it at that. But that was a very cool experience when he was over at Marist. And then our lower level staff is rounded out with Matt Cervantes, who's our head JV coach, outstanding guy who does everything and more that we ask him to. Thankless job to be coaching down at the lower levels anywhere. But Matt has been absolutely elite in what he's been able to do for us and making my life that much easier because I can entrust that level with him. And he's assisted by another one of my former teammates who graduated a year behind me, Antoine Jameson, who's working with the offensive side of the ball at that lower level. So that's our staff. And then kind of belling back to Coach Anaclerio, there was an article that came out after our TF South game, but he is the man behind the curtain for our special teams. We are extremely fortunate to have him. He's just an elite special teams guy, as I was quoted before. But the things that he's been able to do for our team and our players has been very special, and we're very fortunate to have him. And I think it's also really important to mention that there's some other people involved here with our trainer, Oscar Reyes, and the best managers in the state of Illinois, Abria, Ashley, Janaya, Marsharia, and Nikayla, and then our administration, starting with our building principal, Brian Rasinski, and our athletic director, DeVale Stubbs, who gave us this opportunity to get this thing turned around.
Yeah, Mr. Stubbs started following me on Twitter. Now I got to behave myself. Great.
And we're North grad, so he takes that in.
There you go.
We'd be remiss not to talk about your game tomorrow night. Obviously, Hillcrest, big time opponent. Kind of what can your fans expect out of the Hawks tomorrow?
Oh, they're outstanding. I mean, they're at the top of the list every year in our conference for a reason. They're extremely well coached. They play with an extreme amount of passion and pride that is undeniable when you watch them on film. And our players know that this team's coming in here ready to play. They're in the number one spot overall in the conference for a reason. They do a lot of great things on both sides of the ball. And, obviously it's a unique experience where they got to play on our field last week. I don't know if you guys saw that, but with everything going on down the street at TF South, they had to play their game against our field. So this is not like unfamiliar territory for them. And our boys understand that we absolutely respect this group that's coming in here from Hillcrest. And we expect it to be a really, really hard-fought game tomorrow night.
Anthony, you sent me the stats, which I appreciate. And, Dominic Bradford had a great game last week. You had Tehran Long, I believe, with a touchdown, 86 yards. The two running backs I thought were outstanding, in Jackson and Grafford. And you have the defensive stats too. But one person that caught my eye, and I'm going to try to pick a bone with you here. I went on to get a roster to see who this person was, and you don't have numbers with a roster that I could get on mine. But your right guard, number 62, you see all these big guys on the offensive line, and this person at right guard is a lot smaller than anybody else on your line. But I'll tell you what, the person gets after it on the offensive line. Who is this person?
Well, it's awesome that you were able to spot him, because I could throw some jokes out there because he's an unbelievable kid. But as you know, you can't measure heart, and that is one and only Damari. Damari Dogan is an outstanding human being, brings a smile to everybody's face every single day, not only at practice but in the building. And without a doubt, he is a household favorite. I don't know if that's because my kids probably won't grow to be above 5'5", but there is without question a lot of positivity around Damari and what he's been doing for us all season long. And I know his hogs that are around him are going to give him a hard time about it. But as we say, you can't measure heart. And I think that the fact that you brought that up, that you were able to find him on film, says everything you know about the most important thing, and that's what's inside his chest there.
All right, I have one more question before we cut you loose here. I know there's another gentleman in the box that that you have on your staff where he goes to the games. What I want to know is since you have the offense, do you have the what pass in your playbook?
Yes, the individual that you're speaking about is my dad. He's been the voice of reason. The what pass has been discussed for years in my roles on the offensive side of the ball. We got a game tomorrow, so I'm not going to give anything away.
No, I don't want any secrets out. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I want to make sure that was in the playbook.
But there's a possibility it's deep down there somewhere. We might have to go to page 77 for his graduating year. But yeah, it's been awesome to have my parents, my siblings,
it's great.
My aunts, my mom's side of the family. The Paligas are a big TF North family, and it's just been a very, very special family affair each and every week. Going back to my mom and dad and seeing the excitement that they've had on their face, and they've known for a long time that this has been a dream of mine. Get back to the program that I played for, the school that I went to, and the community that I grew up in. And obviously they're Cal Cityans as well. And so it's been very, very cool. And I look forward to enjoying some more of those special moments with them as the season continues.
We've seen the wrong side of fractionals had an upgrade. When is TF North due for their upgrade?
Oh boy. Well, let's go back to Chooch Construction, because we're going to have to bring him out of retirement.
We're in trouble, Anthony. I'll tell you that.
We would love to break ground next week if possible, but that's obviously that's above me.
Above your pay grade. Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think with the upgrades down at South and I think the excitement around that and what that's going to mean to that program and that school. I think it will be a very short period of time before we see those things come about on our side of fractional. And we hope to have that excitement around our program as well when that time comes. But in the meantime, we'll embrace and love our home field and use it for whatever we need to use it for in regards to what we have and don't have. But ultimately, once the ball's kicked off, we're going to play football, whether it's on turf, whether it's on grass, whether it's on cement, mud, sand, doesn't matter. Just got to line up and play.
Hey, Joe, I'm pretty good at browbeating schools and the facility upgrades, aren't I?
Anthony, yeah, you'll get it maybe next, in 2 weeks, that thing will be ready to go.
Coach, we'll let you go. Good luck.
Yes. Yeah, good luck, Anthony. Proud of you.
Thank you very much. And as always, stay north.
All right, stay north. Anthony Pignatello joining us. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. That's going to do it. This is the Week 8 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening and watching.
Good night.